This week's action has come to a close, so now it's time for the debate to begin. Made by supporters from around the Betfred Super League for their fellow supporters, it is now time for the final Hooter podcast. We hope you enjoy the show.
Good morning and welcome to the final Hooter podcast of the team top members of Super League Raw. My name's Craig and I'm your host for this special edition of the final Hooter. We are, of course, talking about the Magic Weekend. Slight different show this week due to people travelling from the Magic Weekend. We couldn't record it live as we normally do. But we did do some instant reactions from the ground from the fans of the Super League. So starting us off with the first instant reaction was Greg and Ryan talking about the Huddersfield Giants' defeat to the York Knights.
So here we are for the first instant reaction of Magic Weekend. The York Knights beating Huddersfield Giants 36 points to 24. It's fair to say I've got two very disappointed Giants fans with me, starting with Ryan Birch. Ryan, defensively, it must be heartbreaking as a Giants fan. I mean, some of your D today, not good enough, mate.
Yeah, it's like that every week though. It's not just this game. I know it was really bad this game, but it's like every week there's just gaps everywhere. There's like players running in trying to solve a problem, and it's like they're not a team. It's like there's no team cohesion, and they're just individually trying to make tackles, and it's just they're just finding gaps. It's just too easy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, I feel you pay. I mean, some of the tries today that you can see, the Cody Hunter one in the first half. I mean, it's on a par with what Bill Leyland did to KR. I think that was probably worse. But again, defensively, you want your team to be stronger, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I think there was one in the second half as well, which was equally soft. Ryan's completely right. I think we hoped we would see a continuation from last week, but I think last week was probably the anomaly. This has gone back to where we were. We know Jim's got a lot of work to do. I thought first half we were okay, but I mean we capitulated then again, didn't we? Which was just a shame to see. Yeah, it's a tough day. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really tough season. I felt that was a massive game today in terms of the bottom of the table by the end of the season. I think that York have took a massive step forward there today in terms of avoiding the wooden spoon. Did you come to Magic today hopeful that you could turn York over?
To be fair, I did. I thought, this is an opportunity to get on a trajectory, for better games. We've got Bradford next week, but it's just I think York I think they wanted it more, and you could tell that they wanted to win so that to keep us below them, to lose below them. But I think after we lost to Toulouse, I wasn't optimistic about finishing any higher than second from bottom, really. So,
I mean, you listen to Ryan there. I mean, you've been watching the Giants longer than Ryan has, Greg. I mean, some of what he said there, it's got to be painful in the fact that they wanted it more. I mean, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, and I think there's obviously going to be a turnover of players, and some of the players know that. But I think we've been told by our director of change we're going to be safe because of IMG, because of stuff off the pitch, and there's a lot of points where it's going to score more off the pitch. But perhaps what people don't realise is if there was relegation and there was that jeopardy, you're turning up to matches thinking we need to win. There's something there. So we've got Bradford next week. And it's just a damp squid as far as we're concerned. We're going to turn up because we turn up. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. And you don't want to turn up not wanting to know or not wanting to think it doesn't matter if we win or lose. That's just not why you watch rugby. So, a bit of me does wish for some relegation just based on on-field performance on some level, just to make the, wow, big game next week. We've got no big games now between now and the end of the season. And that makes me feel... it makes me feel sad. I don't want to say that, Dave, but that's how I sort of feel.
See, this is where I slightly disagree in the fact that, we know that, there's a lot of rumours this week that it's going to be a 14-team Super League in 2027, not a 15-team. London are all but certain to come up, and people can have the view on that, and they can. But, when you see the likes of Toby King and the other NRL people that are going to London, I think they've been tipped the wink. They're in Super League next season, so it's between York and it's between Huddersfield for me in terms of who is number 14. And Ryan, it's got to be said that one of those two teams is probably going to go in 2027, and the one who's not bottom has surely got a better arm wrestle. I'm not saying that the one who finishes bottom isn't going to stay in Super League, but if Huddersfield are bottom, does that dilute their plea to remain in Super League if it goes to the panel? I mean, there's talk, are they in the 12, are they not? And we don't know. We'll find that out at the end of the season. But if they're not in the 12 and 13 and 14, they're going to be picked by a panel again. The team who isn't finished bottom, have they got a better bargaining chip or not?
100%. I think, on-field performance is massive for me, and if we're significantly worse than York on-field, then we deserve to go down. There's no doubt about it, and it's hard to say, but we are not in a good place at the moment at all.
I suppose just to come back on that, and I could well be proved wrong, I hope I'm not, but when they come to selecting 13, 14, I would think financial backing, things like that, I think will actually carry more weight, sadly, than on-field performance. You wouldn't want to put a team in there that's not going to see out the season or that has the financial risk when you have a club in Huddersfield who's terribly underperforming, who just has that financial backing.
I get that, and I do, but again, at the risk of sounding controversial, I'm hearing that yes, there are at the moment things being talked about where York are concerned. However, I'm also hearing that there is significant investment subject to Super League guarantees that will be immediately injected into York. And if that is the case, and again, this is for outside of the game, on the field though, let's we don't know what's going to happen off the field, but on the field, today we've seen York beat Huddersfield. I think we'd all agree that on-field performance is massive. I'm not saying, you know me, I'm as down the line as possible. You know, I've got so much respect for you two, and you know that, and the Cowbell Army in general. My concern for Huddersfield is performances like that, not finishing above York at the end of the season. If that's the case, that's a concern.
Yeah, I think it's just really disappointing. When we in 2022 we got to the Challenge Cup final, finished third. And that's the only time in 10 years that we've got in the playoffs. And it's just so disappointing to see the potential that we could have had. And then, like this year, for example, some of the signings, we've made 3 signings, which was Koza, Patolo and O'Donnell. Don't get me wrong, those 3 are hard-working players. But you've taken a few players out and only replaced with 3. We don't have the depth we did. And Zane Dunford today was our best player on the pitch, I thought, and he's one of Lenihan's signings. So hopefully, if Lenihan can get a few more players that want to play like that, then we've got a good chance. But it's just hard. Yeah.
We need some spirit back into the club. We need some spirit back between the club and the fans and the hierarchy, which will then work its way down to the players and just holding people accountable on all levels.
Well, do you know what? As a neutral, I'm going to disagree with my old mate Greg. In the fact that I actually don't think they need the spirit from the top down. I think it from the bottom up. If the club had the same spirit as these 2 lads and those loyal Cowbell Army supporters that have been there through thick and thin, this club would not be where it is. And that is what is vitally required. What we're seeing on the field at the moment, and I can say this if these don't, what we're seeing on the field is not the embodiment of the supporters of Huddersfield Giants on the field, and that needs to change, and it needs to change very, very quickly, because these boys and more beside them, they deserve better. On that note, we of course are fair and we are impartial. We've got to give flowers to York. York can only beat what's in front of them, and I thought today they took the chances really well. Some of the tries are soft, and I get that, but the bottom line is, if you're York being promoted to Super League, to come and be playing at Magic Weekend and beating, let's be fair, an established Super League team like the Huddersfield Giants, that's a great day for York, Ryan.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Cody Hunter, miles better than, Tui or Russell. And then you've got Paul Vaughan coming off the bench. You've got Max Shane, who's level-headed. So they've got a few good players out there. And I think, they've been significantly better than us today. And they proved it all year, I think. They've been in each and every game that I've seen them play. They've had some point in that game where, they're having a dig here. And, credit to them, but it's just unfortunate from a Giants perspective.
Yeah, definitely. The load of good creativity there from York. 1-6, 9, really, really creative. Good runners, and yeah, they could have scored more, Dave. There was some chances that they left some points out there, but yeah, credit to them, playing good rugby, just being really creative. Nice on the eye. Nice on the eye as a, if I can say, as a rugby league fan rather than an opposition fan today.
And that's what makes Super League Raw so credible, is the fact that these boys, in utter disappointment, can sit here literally, in the final whistle went 5 minutes ago, they come straight on camera. Love the pair of you. I wish your team was performing better than I do. I genuinely, you deserve so much better. Congratulations to York. Great win for York. Great win from Mark Applegarth. And yeah, boys, I hope from this point on your season gets a bit better. But for me, Greg and Ryan, that's been instant reaction. Great win for York Knights over the Huddersfield Giants. We'll be back later in the day. Bye for now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a good show for York, coming out 36 points to 24 wins on their debut on the Magic Weekend. Then moving on, game 2 of the Magic Weekend is always a good game. It's a great thriller. It's Hull KR versus Hull FC. Hull KR coming out 26-12 winners over their arch nemesis. And for an instant reaction, we have Dawn Kirkby and Mike Todd of Hull KR.
So here we are, some instant reaction. The KRFC game has just finished. I'm here with 2 Super League Raw KR members, Dawn Kirkby and Toddy over here. 26-12 to KR. Proper arm wrestle that, Dawn. You were bricking it.
I was definitely bricking it, yes. I thought FC came back to it in the second half. Our standards of first half weren't our usual, but we had quite a few forwards out. But I thought Jar Whitbread had a really good first half. He stuck it compared to what he's been playing the last couple of weeks. But yeah, we did all right first half. Not our usual standard, but we did all right. I think when it come to half time and FC come out really well, didn't they? And yeah, it wasn't till that last period that we scored that try. That I said we sort of come back to it and won the game really.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, as a neutral, I thought it was a really good game, Toddy, I have to say. We wanted, as a neutral, you want it to be close, and that was a close game. I mean, from a KR perspective, you probably dodged a bit of a bullet there because injuries that you had today. I thought FC give a good account. Actually, one of the most entertaining Hull derbies for quite a while.
You see, I thought the opposite. I thought for a neutral, they might have thought it was a bit boring in the first half anyway. First half was a bit, tit for tat, I thought, but second half, when they sort of put a bit of pressure on and came back into it, I was panicking because today I was worried today. With our forwards missing and Dean Hadley especially, I just thought it's going to be hard today. And when they started showing a bit of promise in the second half, I panicked a bit. And fair play to Hull. I thought there was going to be. There was. To be honest, I thought they'd do it, but I've been going to Rovers long enough to watch him lose leads like that in the last 3 or 4 minutes. So, I'm just glad they saw it out. Proper Willie Peters has drummed it into this team that we got to see games out. And to be fair, today they did it. They ground it out and they did what they needed to do.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, look, again, as a neutral, Dawn, what I would say is, look, KR didn't lose the game, but they helped themselves in losing the game. I mean, that last 15, 20 minutes, I mean, the knock-on from Lewis Martin, right, in their own 20 metres. If you're going to do that against a team like KR, you're probably going to, especially in a close game like that, you're probably going to come out on the wrong end, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went to FC last week and watched them play Wigan, and they were really good last week. They made a few errors. But I think today, our tactics was to sort of spread it a bit and spread the defence on the line. I think we had to change tactics because obviously we've got less forwards on the pitch, and I thought putting Broadbent on the wing, I thought bless him, he's had to play another position today. I mean, he's been playing full back for more all year. He played centre last year, and he's had to come in at wing. And I think that first half, that told. I think because obviously two tries went out, and I thought if Broadbent had been on that wing more often, we'd have caught them. I think for the forward pass, he was out of position. It went out, and I thought if Broadbent had been played more often in that position, I think they'd have scored there. I think it's just the positional changes. I think I think we had to change it up today, and I think considering we haven't played like that for a while, I think we did okay, and I think the 6 against are just killing us. I mean, they had penalty, 6 again, and they scored, and I think these 6 against are just killing us this year.
I think ill discipline is a problem for KR. I also think your execution. I mean, there's certain times today, Toddy, you know, you had opportunities on both edges where you just didn't ice it. And last year you were icing them for fun. This year you're just not executing, are you?
I think like at the end of the first half we should have scored and gone in a bit more up. And Broadbent is brilliant. I love Broadbent, but you can't work out along that back line where he plays. It's not a winger. Because if that was Budgie who was on that left-hand side today, he'd have iced that try in the corner. It'd have been put down, and it's I mean, regardless of what position you are, you should be putting that down. You know, you can't let. So the game should have been put to bed a bit earlier, but I don't know. I mean, at the minute they're just struggling with discipline and a few errors and that. Like you said, it's not like Rovers at the minute, but we'll just, I don't know, they'll pick themselves up, and I think we'll put a better push towards the end of the season. Get a few players back and get a better push towards the end of the season. No more travelling, no more wastes of France, and no more, like, you know, the biggest away games now is you lot and Wigan, and then once them two are out the way, that's it. We should be, you know, winning most of our last few games.
You lot, no less. Well, look. The bottom line is, I think there's a lot there for KR still to be working on. It doesn't look as fluent and as fluid as it was in 2025, and that's a problem. Let's give FC some credit. I thought last week against Wigan, you know, let's be fair, they gave him a proper game, and today they gave you a proper game. And I have to say, and I've said this in the first half, and he's just got the player of the match on Sky, and I actually agree. I mean, Jake Arthur is really starting to perform, John.
Definitely, yeah. It was a bit ropey, wasn't he, at the beginning of the season, making a lot of errors. But as I say, last week he stepped up. I mean, I was there again with my Rhinos fan when they played Leeds, and I mean, they absolutely blew them off the park, Leeds. And I think they targeted him really well. They got the game plan, and that it was perfect. And I think Hull FC are really good on the day. But the problem with FC for me is their consistency. I think they can beat Leeds, they can scare Wigan, but it's like that consistency every week, and that's the only problem that Leeds have. FC have for me.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of injuries though.
Yeah, they've got a lot of injuries.
More than you. No, they have got more than you.
Well, you can't.
No, they have done.
Well, you can't keep using injuries as an excuse.
No, but I'm just saying they have got more. I'm just saying it, Don. Factually, I'm correct. They've got more injuries than you.
They had injuries against Leeds and they beat Leeds.
I'm not. I don't dispute that. I'm just saying they have more injuries.
I think this sport is one of them sports where you can't disrespect anyone, and Wigan have proved that. When Wigan disrespected Castleford, disrespected Huddersfield, they got turned over. Well, they disrespected Hull last week and still won because of the mistakes that Hull was making. I mean, I'm one of these as well. I honestly thought I was going to lose today, and I thought Hull's performance last week looked better than it was because Wigan was off. They disrespected Hull, but they managed to get it over the line, which they didn't against the other two teams. Now, Hull for me, I mean, obviously I'm a Rovers fan, so I'm not going to stand here and blow wind up Hull's ass.
Well, you actually sat, but carry on.
I'm what?
You actually sat, you're not standing, but carry on.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to blow wind up any Hull's ass, but this is coming, just my opinion. I think they're in a bit of trouble, mate, because they're not like last week when they've gone under false pretences, made themselves look good because of how bad Wigan was. They disrespected Wigan disrespected all last week and still won. When they disrespected Castleford and Huddersfield, they got turned over at home for it. So they've gone into this game thinking, hang on, we can turn these over today because of how they played last week. So I think that worked in our favour today because I honestly thought today they was going to be all up for it. I mean, what else have they got this season? Let's beat Hull KR. Let's beat Hull KR Magic. Are they going to get in the six? Are they going to get in the six?
They're not going to get in the six, mate.
Well, that's the thing. So let's beat Hull KR at Magic. That's their season for me. That's their season for me. Gone. Is it? Am I wrong?
Well, no, you're probably not wrong. But look. I'm a rose between two robins here. What I would say about FC, I think the last 2 weeks there's something to build on. I do believe that. I thought today, do you know what, you were there for the taking, and I don't think it's disrespect. I think for me today, FC smelt blood, and I thought they actually attributed themselves really well. I thought the last 15 minutes they were on worst enemy. They really were. They really were. I thought Jake Arthur was absolutely superb, incredible, great performance from him. But look, that in the grand scheme of things, that could be a massive result because I think you have been a little bit ropey. I think because of your injuries today, there was an opportunity for Hull FC.
I think 8 out of the 14 teams would have turned us over today.
The 8?
The 8. Well, no, I'll tell you the 4 that wouldn't have done. The bottom 3 and them. No, you know, you could get away. You could maybe get
the bottom 3 and them.
Do you know what I mean? And you would have turned us over. Even Catalan, you know, the teams who were fighting for the 6 would have turned us over.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, all I would say is, you know, look, I think there's something there for FC to build on. I really do. Great performance from Jake Arthur. From a Hull KR perspective, they needed that. Boy, did they need that. That might just settle the ship. They had some big injuries today here at Magic. They've got through it. They've grinded out a result. It wasn't pretty. Nowhere near was it pretty. But they managed to get the result done. So well done to KR. That puts them up to 3rd before the next game, or between now and the end of the weekend. Will KR win against FC yet again? How many is that on the run?
Well, on the run it's 8.
8 on the run.
10 out of the last 11.
10 out of the last 11 and being informed. FC.
And we don't usually win at Magic either.
Don't normally win at Magic. So Steve McNamara, if you're watching, you've got a big job on when you get to FC. There you go. Instant reaction. KR beat Hull FC. Toddy's already off to the bar. Outstanding stuff. We will be back with more later. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.
Day 1 of the Magic Weekend wrapped up at the Hill Dickinson Stadium with a very, very impressive Lee Leopards performance over Warrington Wolves. Lee 24, Warrington 6. And for the instant reaction, we have here Tony Pennington of the Lee Leopards, and we have Greg and Sammy of the Warrington Wolves.
Right, welcome to Super League Raw on the bus with the Super League Raw posse. Everybody give us a cheer. Magic Day 1, all done and dusted. This is instant reaction. Lee Leopards against Warrington. I lost count of the score. What was the score?
Was it something like 30 odd?
34-4. Did it get to 34?
24-6.
24-6 was the score. And we've got a very happy Lafer here in TP. TP, that's not an antiseptic, by the way. TP, you must be delighted with that, man. That was a good win and a much needed win for the Leopards.
It was indeed. I wasn't expecting it. I thought Warrington would be.
Stop heckling. Stop it.
No, I thought Warrington gave us a game, but they didn't really turn up. But we did what we had to do, and I thought we took our chances well, control the game, and I can't really fault us. I thought we fully deserved the 2 points, and on we go and keep fighting for that top 6.
It's a good step in the right direction. David Armstrong got the man of the match in the stadium. What did you make of Davey?
Yeah, back to his best, really. He's been slowly building up week on week, taking it easy. But when he got that ball, he just clicked in another gear and there's no one stopping him there. That was a great try, that.
Yeah, good try. Right, I'll come back to you, Toe. Let's go to Sammy. Sammy's gutted. Sammy's not an happy boy. Sammy, you're fuming. Why are you fuming, mate?
Well, I think we were still in Warrington actually because the team selection was rubbish. Should have been Jake Fewless on the wing, Webster at fullback, because Ewan at fullback just takes him completely out of the game. I'm sad.
Sammy's sad. It's a sad Sammy. A sad Sammy. Albeit he is sitting next to a very fine lady that he's wooing. It has to be said. You all right? Yeah, he's happy over here. Unfortunately, she supports Wigan, so it might not happen. It doesn't. Warrington and Wigan don't mix, but he'll keep trying. He's a tryer, he's our Sammy. I mean, he's got a point, hasn't he, in terms of the squad selection, Reg?
Yeah, I think Sam Bird just missed a trick today. Ewan Irwin's not a fullback. Lockie Webster is a fullback. Bring Jake Thewlis back in. I think, is he still on loan?
No, you call him back.
Well, call him back. Well, don't call him back and not play then. Put him on the wing. Sneed. didn't really enforce himself on the game today. I'd have had Ewan and Hayes at the half backs. We couldn't really have done any worse. We just didn't look up to the game at all today. It was poor all round from us.
Did Mark Sneed play like a player that knows he's off to Bradford next year?
I don't think he played, did he?
There you go. Fair enough, but no, it was odd. I mean, you've got a fullback playing on the wing. You've got a halfback playing in the fullback position. I mean, look, if I'm going to be ultra negative here, Ewan Irwin was put to fullback out of duty against Catalan. Made one good tackle. That don't make you a fullback, does it?
No, I mean, it was a great tackle. Won us the game, but no, you lost his creativity in the middle of the park. Sneed, as good as he's been, it's his first game back in a long time, and he couldn't really ask him to take command of that game. Ewan Irwin and Hayes have done all right in the middle there. The Leeds game apart, they've done all right in the middle. I would have put Webster, who hasn't put a foot wrong really at fullback, and I'd have put Jake Thewlis on the wing. Warrington were missing a lot of players through injury today, but there's no excuse for that performance, I'm afraid.
No excuse for that performance. Wigan next, NKR, then Lee again. How many points are you getting from that, Sammy?
2.
2 points. Who are you getting the 2 points from, Sammy?
The Pies.
You're going to beat Wigan? Wigan next week?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Back to you, TP. Great win. Much needed. I think you needed to win that today. Had you have lost that, I'd have had grave concerns in terms of you making the 6. The fact you have won it, and I expected you to win it, I called it before the game, that now gives you, I think, a real good chance to kick on. You're playing Warrington again in 3 weeks. Based on that, you'd fancy that, and I think you've got some really winnable games on the horizon. Is the Lee Leopards charge to the playoffs alive and well?
Very alive and well. When you look who we've got at home, we've got more, again, always happens this time of year. We've got our home games. We've got quite a few left. Have we got 7 left? We should pick up a lot of points though. We've got Wigan at home. We've got you at home. We've got Saints at home. Wakefield at home as well. So there's a lot of points to be picked up there from the current top 6. We've got Leeds away, which will be a tough one, but I think we're going to be thereabouts, and you can see the confidence is there now, and it's like a couple of years ago when we had that good run. It's looking good, I can't really fault us, and we've got the new guy coming in as well, so it'll build up a bit more big pack, help us our pack out really.
Added troops, no doubt about it, absolutely. Very, very good indeed. I think things are looking quite good. What I did say to Steph, obviously Steph not here today, he's otherwise indisposed, but good afternoon, Mr. Sale. I did say to Steph, I think yesterday on the phone, that my concern for the Leopards is that probably every game from here till the playoffs is almost a playoff game, and in 2024 when you had to have that run to get into the playoffs, you ran out of steam at the back end. Is that your concern?
Yeah, it is a bit, because again, we're going to pick up injuries. It looks like Tessie New might have got a bit of injury today.
Sam Powell's in a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah, I think he'll get a ban for that. That was a bad one, that. But it's how we manage it. I think we didn't bring Robbie Mullen back on or Joffa. We saved them, which is a good tactics, we kept Matt Davis on and that, so I think we're learning a bit so we can keep saving players, not bringing them on unnecessarily, which we didn't need to really, because the game was won. That is probably our way we can do it.
So there you go, Warrington Wolves losing to the Lee Leopards at Magic, game number 3. We've got a small little task now of going back to the Bluebell, a little plug for one of our main sponsors, live band. It's going to be a tough one, it really is, to drink the night away, dance the night away, listen to a tune or two. Hey, Sammy. Sammy's going home to... What are you going to do when you get home? Don't answer that, Sammy. Anyway, from all of us to all of you, we hope you've enjoyed day 1 here at Magic, and we will be back for day number 2. Bye for now.
Day 2 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium kicks off in emphatic fashion, with the Trinity getting a very good win over their arch rivals, the Castleford Tigers. Trinity 48, Castleford Tigers 6. This was a very, very impressive performance from Wakefield. And to do an instant reaction was Billy.
So welcome back to Magic Weekend, day number 2 of Magic, and Wakey have just won 48 points to 6 over the Castleford Tigers in game 1, and it's fair to say that other than having probably one of the best shirts at Magic, it's about as good as it gets, doesn't it, for Castleford today?
Well, I'm going to go outside now and I'm going to watch the cast players arrive. That was an absolute embarrassment, that performance. It was an embarrassment to Rugby League, it was an embarrassment to Magic Weekend, and I feel so sorry for the Castleford fans who have paid their hard-earned money to come over here and watch that absolute dross. It's a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. Take nothing away from Wakefield. Wakefield were outstanding, but they were outstanding against a very, very poor Castleford side. Absolutely shocking. Really, really was.
Yeah, that mic's gone up. Deary me. Ooh. Bit keen now, Billy, if you don't mind me saying. Yeah, well, yeah, it was a shocking game. It was an absolute shocker from a Castleford Tigers perspective. Defensively, so poor. Lacked urgency, lacked line speed. The right edge of defence, Weaver and co. Lots of concerns there. How did Lachlan Walmsley get the Sky Man of the match for that, Bill?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I thought he had a good game. Yeah, he did. He had a good game. He won Sky Man of the match. I'd have probably looked at Hamlin Llewellyn myself. I thought Hamlin Llewellyn had a really good game. I mean, we were having a chat just in the stand earlier. You think Wakefield have got the best pack in the league? I think it's second to Leeds, but maybe I'm a little bit biased. I will admit that. But the difference today, when I saw those team sheets, I said the difference is going to be Wakefield's bench. Wakefield's bench was absolutely outstanding today. You could tell the difference when Smith came on. He was making gaps all through the line. Hamlin Llewellyn, Fartilli, absolutely fantastic. And I thought McMeekin had a great game as well. McMeekin, absolute class as far as I'm concerned. I was really impressed with that Wakefield performance. Very, very impressed. And it's a nice shirt and all that they've got into it.
Yeah, theirs is nice and all. Up close, very nice. Got some lovely detail to that Wakefield shirt, I have to say. I thought Van Ganar as well, on the right for Wakey, had a really strong game. But yeah, for me, Hamlin Llewellyn, all day man of the match. I mean, his runs, brutal. Very, very strong performance indeed. And the reason I say I think Wakey's got, at this moment in time, the best pack, and we said this in the stand, is the fact that they've all got different strengths. Yeah. You know, and you're not seeing an awful lot of that at this moment in time. I think if Leeds still had Lizzoni as that impact, maybe, yeah. But at this moment in time, I think Davil's really fortunate that his middle unit is fit, it's on the field, and they've all got their own little niche in terms of what they can bring. And when Hamlin Llewellyn and Fartilli comes on, the chaos that they're causing around the middle was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It really was. I mean, you could really tell the difference. Especially when Hamlin Llewellyn and Fartilli came on, the meters they were making down the middle, it were taking 3 or 4 players to bring them down. And what it were just doing was creating so much space on the left-hand side, in particular for Wakefield. I think what we've got to actually say here, 48 points to 6, to a point that's go flat as Castleford. Wakefield missed 3 kicks, I believe, and there were a good 3 or 4 tries. Do you think good 3 or 4 tries that were? But you're going to get that when you're throwing the ball around a bit. You know, that is going to be part of the game. But yeah, I was very disappointed with that Castleford performance. I was hoping this was going to be a really close game, but I'm really, really pleased for Wakefield.
I think that's a missed opportunity today for Wakey. I think they've left some points on the field. Had they have scored more, they would have been going second today. I think they've missed that opportunity. But all in all, a very professional performance from Wakefield Trinity. Darryl will be delighted. Here's one for you though, Bill. Look, Wakey, for me, I think they do look a playoff team. I really do. And I think the closer we get to the end of the season, they're playing very well. Some nice expansive play on the edges. They look very good, the Wakefield Trinity. We were just having a quick look there. So they've lost 3 players to HIA today, Castleford. Next week, I think in their future, they've got Lee, Leeds, Warrington and KR. There's the next 4 for Castleford. Where's the win coming from?
Maybe at the HJ, if yesterday's performance is all to go by. Yeah. But, I mean, just funnily enough, actually, I said to you before, so we're sat with Craig Lingard, the coach of the Sheffield Eagles. Hello there. Hello, Craig, yeah, very good. I said, and I meant this with all due respect to Sheffield, Sheffield are giving Castleford a game today, and that's a part-time team. I can't see Castleford winning any of them next 4. I think all they can really hope for now is just a performance, just some effort. I mean, like Hamlin Llewellyn's second try, it was basic stuff that there weren't. It was great. Take nothing away from Hamlin Llewellyn, but he should not be scoring that try. He shouldn't be. That was shocking. It really was. But honestly, I can't take anything at all away from Wakefield. But to answer your question, I don't see a win coming for Castleford in them next 4.
Ouch. I think actually it's not the Wakey's performance was good, but I don't think it was as impressive as how quick Forfey is just at that pie mashing peas. I mean, that is a personal best from Mr. Forth, I have to say. I mean,
they don't call them the pie eaters for no reason.
Well, absolutely. So Craig Forth is here, of course, a very proud pie eater, and by God, did he just eat that pie? I mean, dearie me. I mean, so it's like that cartoon character where like they just open their mouth and just pops it in. Wow.
Didn't touch the side.
Clearly the food at Village Street is very good because that one didn't touch the sides. Anyway, well done, Wakey. Professional performance. Congratulations to you, Wakefield Trinity fans. That is outstanding. They are building momentum. They're doing very, very well. They will be in the playoffs for me. How far they'll go, all I'll say is this. Anybody who picks up Wakefield in the playoffs, providing they're fully fit, they'll have the hands full. They will have the hands full. That is not going to be a gimme. As for Castleford Tigers, well, maybe we're already in pre-season for 2027 because that was on a par with Huddersfield for me.
I think that's been a bit disrespectful to Huddersfield. I thought that they were shocking with Castleford today. Absolutely diabolical.
Wow. You've heard it from Billy. He's not happy with Castleford today. He's come out firing.
I come here as a rugby league fan. I want to see close games of rugby league.
Come here as a rugby league fan. Obviously, comes a rugby league fan. Exactly. But no, genuinely, well on the way, Castleford, you've got to be a lot better than that. It looks like you're building a good team for 2027, and I bet it can't come soon enough. We'll be back with more instant reaction very shortly. Bye for now.
Game 2 of day 2 of the Hill Dickinson Stadium was, of course, the Leeds Rhinos taking on the Bradford Bulls in a long-awaited return to the Magic Weekend for these two old enemies. Leeds far too strong for Bradford here, 50 points to 16 winners. And to review this game for an instant reaction was Mark Hill of the Leeds Rhinos.
So now we've got instant reaction for Leeds Rhinos against Bradford Bulls. 50 points to 16. Leeds continue their very impressive 2026, and a very happy Mark Hill, Leeds Rhinos fan, is next to me. Mark, sum up that 80 minutes, mate.
Yeah, we came out a little bit not great. I think Bulls held us off quite well. We had a spell in the second half where, again, it was a bit like with Toulouse, wasn't it? We were starting off just letting them in. The door opened and they got 2 consecutive tries really quickly. So that was a slight concern, but we seemed to just nip that straight in the bud and then went for it again. There were a lot of 6 again for Bulls, a lot of holding down in tackle. Not all of them were justified, I'd say, but I think we did okay. We've done the job. We've got 4 points clear. I'm happy.
Yeah, you must be happy. I mean, Sevo fell over the line again.
Yeah, just weekly try from Sevo, and you've got to have it nowadays. But any bookmakers out there are just giving it evens now, I think.
Absolutely, but actually, his inside man today was the star of the show. He's been outstanding all season. No doubt, we can see on the screen he's been given the Sky Man of the match, and rightly so. Ash Hanley today showed yet again why currently he has to be considered the best centre in Super League.
Yeah, definitely, and that partnership on the side creates gaps as well. I said to you halfway through the game, that's a proper danger side for anybody. If Sevo's not going over the line, it's Ash Hanley going through that gap because they're concentrating on Sevo. So it's a real pick-up over teams to manage, but for us, it's absolutely fantastic. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought some of your tries today were easy on the eye. I did like a little grubber kick through from Jared O'Connor for the Croft try early doors. Jared showing a bit of tenacity as well for his own.
Yeah, definitely. I think with Croft going, obviously, to you guys next season, I think Jared's going to be implemented more and more within the squads throughout the season. And I think he's going to try and replace Croft, to be quite honest with you.
I mean, we've got to give... I did actually enjoy even Ryan's second try. I thought the interplay between him and his centre on the left edge for that try was very well taken.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as a whole, we are clicking as a team. It's not just one-man performance, although, we've got like Jake Connor, which are like key players, but everybody seems to be linking together really well, and we seem to be causing a lot of issues around parts of the field because of all the relationships we've got and how well they're actually gelling together. You see certain teams where they're necessarily not gelling well together, but they're creating good opportunities. We seem to be creating good opportunities and gelling well. So yeah, that's.
How worried were you when Jake Connor hit the deck?
I had made him hands, if I'm quite honest with you, when he hit deck and he ordered his shoulder. Luckily, he got back up, got given a green card, but then came back on after that. Hopefully, he's okay. I said it to you before the match. I said, Leeds are a very, very good team this season, but we are fragile. I think if we lose Jake Connor, if we lose Miller out back, I think that's where some results could shock us. Maybe we are fragile, and we just need to protect him as much as we can, really.
But at the moment, you're top of the table, doing very, very well indeed. Last word on Bradford. Obviously, we know Bradford are going to be in Super League in 2027 because they're going to Vegas, so we know that is to be true. In terms of competitiveness, yes, the derby's back. It's been 2 good wins. This one far more superior than the first one earlier in the season. You've got them again in a couple of weeks' time. How important is it as a Leeds Rhinos fan that Bradford improve to the point where these become competitive derbies?
Yeah, great question. It's a legacy, isn't it? Because me growing up through Rugby League, it was always Leeds-Bradford. Leeds-Bradford, that's the game you wanted to be with. I think the first game I ever went to was Leeds-Bradford with my uncle. It just means a lot to the actual fans, that competitiveness with Leeds-Bradford. And also, it's families because they're so close to cities. They're literally touching boundaries. You've got families that are half Leeds, families that are half Bradford, like myself. So, yeah, it just means a lot for them to be competitive. Because at the moment, I can brag I've got the bragging rights, but as soon as they get the bragging rights, all of a sudden you've got a nice big derby on your hands, and no animosity, but you go, we're going to beat you or whatever. So yeah, it means a lot for Bradford to actually come up to that level where Leeds are and give us a run for our money, because it gives us something to talk about.
And of course, as we're recording this now, we're about to see the St Helens Wigan game, and that's the type of pressure cooker you want, isn't it? Because you can sense it, you can feel it. There's a lot of nervous energy suddenly has hit the Hill Dickinson, because this next game should be toe-to-toe, should be ferocious. I'd expect maybe a card or 2, and that's what you want the Bradford Leeds derby to be, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. This next game, it's been building up all weekend to this moment, hasn't it? There's been talks with Matty Pete saying, do you regret what you said against Saints last time? Paul Rowley saying it doesn't matter. They're trying to downplay it, but halfway through the Leeds game, all Saints fans started coming in, Wigan fans start coming in. You can hear it probably outside now. It's just the whole atmosphere is building, and I don't want to go home yet. Leeds have played, I don't want to go home yet, although I've got work early tomorrow morning and it'll be a late night. I want to stay for this, unless it's 40-0 at half-time or something. I'm staying till the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope that's the case. So there you go, a very happy Leeds Rhinos fans. He wants the Bulls to improve, and we all want that. But yeah, well done to Leeds, 50 points to 16. And all of a sudden they've got a bit of a cushion at the top of Super League. Who can stop them? Can anybody stop them? The looking favourite for the Shield. We'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.
And then we have the game that brought the curtain down on the Magic weekend, Wigan Warriors versus St Helens. And to join us as this final game discussion, we have, for a long-awaited return to the Final Hooter podcast, it is the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Mr. David Kane. Dave, welcome back to the Final Hooter.
It's been a while, mate. It has been a while, and unfortunately, my throat after a very busy weekend probably doesn't sound his usual dulcet ways. But I think that's just a measure of a very good weekend with the community at Magic, mate. It was a cracker.
It was absolutely brilliant, and I think my throat, as you could probably tell, is probably still recovering, and it might be for the next couple of days after what was a great final game between Wigan and Saints. That was a rivalry to live up to the ages, wasn't it?
It was. Before we get to that, obviously, Magic Weekend, let's have a little chat. I'll talk to you about your Saints Wigan game in a minute. But I think, look, Magic Weekend, Hill Dickinson Stadium, outstanding. I thought, day 2, in terms of atmosphere, in terms of colours of shirts and all that, day 2 worked so well. It really did. And of course, you had the privilege of being with us in Village Street. Great facility with the members. It's fair to say, from a member's perspective yourself, and the rest of the members that are talking to me during the course of the weekend, it was quite an occasion, wasn't it? We dropped on there.
Oh, 100%. It was a great stadium. Just the village street itself, it was fantastic. Just the facilities, just all of it just seems so special. They had a very much VIP area to it. The food was fantastic, without a shadow of a doubt. The drinks were great, plenty of options on everything, and fantastic views as well from where we were sat. I think just like I say, just got such a great view, bit higher up as well, which helps. So you get to see like all the action, so you can see everything quite well. And yeah, it was just fantastic. And you say day two, I think obviously Wigan and Saints having been quite close to the Hill Dickinson, quite a big strong following for them too. Um, it just had such an atmosphere. It had a real festival atmosphere, I think, did day two. Day one obviously was still fantastic, was still great. But obviously the closer the teams were there, like Warrington as well, close there, so it probably attracted more fans to come to that one on day two.
Yeah, no, I just thought day two, probably because of the shirts, because the Bulls, you had the Casford Tigers there. I thought the Wakey special edition shirt was very nice. So yeah, all in all, I think day two for me stood out in terms of from a fans and an atmosphere perspective. I thought it was really, really good, and we've just got to try and find a way of retaining people in the stadium for longer and getting people there longer, because when that place is full and the atmosphere is generating, it's a very, very special place indeed. And I think that, in terms of what we do at Super League Raw, it's days like that Super League Raw really comes to the fore, because we all know that the rugby league community is a very inclusive community, and you can have a bit of banter, this, that, the other. But the fact that you're guaranteed, I mean, we had 57 of us, 57, you're going with 57 people, all of different shirts, all of, and the banter's going to be good, and you're in a safe spot, because, we are a community, so you can have that banter without any fear of any real repercussions. For me, that's what makes it's occasions like that where I think our community and what we're trying to do really comes to the fore.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone in the community, we're all good friends. We all get on so well, and it's like a big giant family, isn't it? This is like a proper rugby league family, and yeah, just to be able to have that laugh and a joke with everybody, when you're egging your teams or their team's opposition on as well, sometimes as well, just to add a bit of the fun to it. And I know me and Mark had a bit of banter regarding Leeds and Bradford, and obviously me and Reggie had a bit of banter as well, on that one. But it was just really good to get there and have them conversations and the discussions, and it's just fantastic. And only at Magic Weekend can you do that. No other sport could do anything like Magic Weekend.
We get to do it all again at the grand final. Members, be on the lookout. We are going to be sorting out the Super League Raw experience for the grand final in the next couple of weeks. More details will, of course, come your way for that. Well, let's get back to Magic. Let's talk to you. The reason for me being here, Mr. Forth, of course, the one instant reaction that we couldn't get done was the one with yourself, Wigan against St. Helens. Team sheets before this game, I think, had advantage Saints. It looked that way. Saints had far less problems personnel-wise, certainly a stronger bench. And I will say this, I think if Saints had have iced two very good clean breaks in the first half, where I think all they had to do really was pass to the winger and they'd have been in, it could have been a different outcome. I thought first half, it was 8-6 in Saints' favour. And I thought that on the balance of the first half play, Saints probably deserved to be that 2 points ahead.
Oh yeah, Saints were the much better team in the first half, especially. All I can say is thank God for try line fever that obviously helped them not pass the ball on that one. But Wigan, it seemed it started that just wanted to get into the faces a bit more, and the youngsters, yeah, there's a bit of lacking in experience in that one, and it was for some of them to be making some big debuts in that. Like I think Mason made his debut at that type of level is quite intimidating. But to be fair, I think for the youngsters, they didn't stand out too much as being overly bad. But again, you are playing a very experienced St. Helens team, which know what they need to do. And I think obviously, yeah, Saints could have quite easily taken that game by the collar and gone. But Wigan hung in there, and that's credit to all that entire Wigan team for hanging in there, certainly in that first half.
Yeah, and I think for me, there was two moments of real quality for me in that first half, and they were both passes. I thought the Harry Smith pass, the long shooting ball left to right, that eventually ended up with Adam Kieran going over for Wigan was a wonderful pass. And then, of course, on the other side, that lovely pass back in on the inside from Hastings to Davies. I thought those two moments for me, they were the best moments of that first period.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, it's just knowing where your teammates are and what you can do, and this is well-oiled teams that Wigan and Saints both are. Just to really put the emphasis on and creating these gaps to take advantage. I know Wigan took advantage of Wellesby's sin bin to score their first try, and then say St Helens just knowing what they can do to punish Wigan and take that lead, which to be fair was very well deserved.
Yeah, and of course second half. I mean, look, second half. You had some real good joy on the edges. We saw you coming down the right hand side. You had real joy on that side, Wigan, in there, and it looked. I mean, for long periods, it looked like it was done and dusted. And then Saints, of course, rallied. I mean, when Saints rallied right at the death, did you have flashbacks to Good Friday when they got it 2 points behind with 5 to go?
I don't talk about Good Friday. We have no. It's that old adage that it never write off the Saints, and the Saints will just keep on coming and coming and coming. And unless you are over the hill and far away by a long way, you can never relax when you're playing St Helens. I thought Clark for Saints was phenomenal. If he'd have got man of the match, to be fair, I'd have been quite happy with that. I thought he had a fantastic game. But yeah, Saints, they know what they're doing, don't they? They know how to attack tiring teams, and that's exactly what they did on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the match review panel, as we record this, we don't know what it's going to be. I think it'll be very busy. I mean, there's quite a few incidents across the weekend, but in this game specifically, there were. Before we get to the big ones, I mean, I thought Jack Wellesby, Paul Rowley must be pulling his hair out in terms of Wellesby's performance. I mean, the penalty to get the first yellow card's unforgivable. It's in a game of that magnitude, you can't afford to be being stupid like that and getting a yellow. That one of the two, I've got real sympathy for Paul Rowley in the fact that what can he do? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Wellesby for me, real mixed bag.
He's got his moments as Wellesby where he can be absolutely phenomenal and is quite a joy to watch, and then he loses his head at these moments, and he seemed to do it again. Well, for his second yellow card as well, it's straight after within. The thing that looked at it was within 30 seconds of the referee calling both captains over and saying calm it down, and then our people get sat down, and then him and Brad and Neil started again. I think those two just had their eye on each other for the whole game, but again, that first yellow card, you just don't do it. Why? You know you're doing that, and I think that's the second time this season he's done that as well for a Simbin for throwing the ball or kicking the ball into the crowd for no reason. I was just like, why would you do that for? That's something I think Paul might have to have a sit down with Wellesby and just say, look, calm down a bit now or sit down.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've heard a bit of reaction from the Saints fans between now and, of course, when we left yesterday. And I think for me, look, I think that St Helens team on paper should beat Wigan. They didn't, and I understand why they'd be disappointed with that. That said, there were some good performances. Jack Wellesby, when he was actually on the field, I felt had probably a decent game, to be fair. He was a running threat. I thought Nene McDonald was a running threat all the way through the game. He was getting some joy. He was punching through the line. I think Davies it's his season in terms of breakout. I think he's looking quality, and I think that they've unearthed another little gem there. There's plenty for St Helens to be hopeful around, I think, in terms of that. Well, you mentioned Jack Wellesby's second yellow. I think I do think from a Wigan perspective in this game, it could be interesting today, the match review panel. I mean, we know that you've lost in December what looks like to be an hamstring. It's highly unlikely he plays against Warrington. He was iced up at the end. I don't see. He looked bad as well. He couldn't run on it. So that suggests to me that's probably a couple of weeks at best for Junior, which is a big blow. Of course, the young man, we wish him well. That was heart-wrenching to see. He up twice and then, of course, went down on his own. We hope Nathan Lowe is recovering well, and I'm sure he will do. Ruptured hamstring, I think, is what we've been told on that, which that's a lengthy one, and we wish him well on that one. Well, let's get to some of the other things that I think, like I say, on another day, Wigan might have had more yellows. The Farriman one. we've seen yellows for that all year. Where
Yeah.
there's direct contact. There is direct contact. I think it was on Hastings. Direct contact to the head by fireman in the first half. Penalty sufficient. I think for me that was fortunate based on what we've seen thus far this season.
It was. I think there was some decisions that definitely went our way. I don't think there were many people probably now want to come to the, I think apparently called the now Chris Kendall North Stand at the Brick Community Stadium, but we did get a few, I think, lucky decisions on that one. Yeah, I think there's a lot of our indiscipline. I think we're starting to creep in. I think for some reason both teams seemed fired up, and even before the fireworks had cleared from the start of the game, we had fireworks, didn't we? There was. I think Brad O'Neill was in the heart of all of it. That's probably the reason why he got voted man of the match by the fans in the stadium, because he was probably one of the more memorable things from Wigan because he was involved in all the scuffles.
He wasn't man of the match, though, was he?
No, no. If I was going to pick a man of the match from Wigan, I'd probably looking more towards Harry Smith. I thought he had a really good game, but say for me, I think Clark at Saints. I thought he was probably best player on the pitch.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I'd have been more inclined Eckersley or Kieran on the right edge for you, who I felt was all the way through the game. But who knows how these things are given? And you're right, Brad O'Neill was fired up, and he was all over those niggly moments in the game. People are saying that Partington could be in trouble for the shot on Dagnall. I mean, I've got to watch that again. I haven't watched it again as we do this. In the stadium when I was watching it, I'm thinking it looked very aggressive. But from what I saw, it didn't look like he made contact to that. I'll need to look at that back. If he has, then yeah, that could be if there's any contact to the head, he's in trouble. It just looked like a full-blooded tackle from where I was sat. I mean, what was your take on that one?
I was same as you watching it live in the stadium. I thought, well, he's not really made contact at the head of the first few instances. I think the more you watch it, I'm not entirely. I wouldn't exactly want to say, but obviously that was when Junior and Partington just came in and absolutely smashed him in a tackle. Yeah, it does look like it goes shoulder first, maybe contact shoulder to shoulder, and then maybe goes up to connection with the head. So yes, I think the incident got put on report. I think playing Warrington next week, there could be a few Wigan players having to be on their absolute best behaviour, and that's even from a Wigan fan. I thought some of our discipline, some of our tackles that we did, we could be in a bit of spot of bother with.
Well, I mean, look, don't worry about that. The speed dial is on, the brown envelopes are on the way, so don't worry about that, mate. I'm sure that'll all sort itself out. And then, of course, this bit about the Brad O'Neill and Jack Wellesby, you're right. Moments before we saw a fracas involving Brad O'Neill, who put his hand on the head, and then we had a little. I think who went in on O'Neill with that? Was it Clemmer?
Yeah, I think it was. That happened, and then they both.
Yeah, I know it was Clemmer and O'Neill at the start of the game. I can't remember who it was for the O'Neill one. It might have been Daz Clark actually. And yes, the referee did. You could see it on the screen that he basically said to him, "Any more of that coming in, and there's going to be people sat down," which is what they always say. And then for a player, and this is the thing, for a player who was a part of that fracas that got the warning, to then be the instigator of the next fracas a minute later, nobody can argue with Brad O'Neill going. Nobody. I mean, he was living on borrowed time most of the game. So that for me is cut and dry. If you're going to give that warning, it's the same. One of the same players that you give the warning for is a minute later. I'm not interested in what he's saying, ref. Then you've got no option. You've got to go and sit him down. But I did feel for Wellesby. I did. I mean, if a little push to the shoulder, play the ball for a player that's just done that is a yellow card, then it does make you scratch your head a little bit in terms of, I go back to the fireman's shoulder to the head of Jackson Hastings. We're sitting people down for a little push. Like I say, where Wellesby was concerned, O'Neill, I think, is bang to rights because he was a part of that first one. So if he was a part of the first one and you're going to stay true to your word and he's a part of the second one, he has to go and sit down. Because you have to. That's cut and dry. But if you're going to send Wellesby for a little push, which is all it was, and you're going to let fireman's direct contact to the head go as penalty sufficient, as a neutral in all of this, you go, what are we doing here? It just seems bizarre.
Yeah, it was. I can remember saying to one of the members, literally just after the referee called him over, and I said, we need to take Brad O'Neill off to cool his head. And then within 30 seconds, he got a chance to cool his head. Yeah, I think, like you say, you've got to have a bit of sympathy, haven't you, for what was a little push. But I think the referee obviously set it stall out when that's it. No if, buts, maybes now. And in some ways, credit to Chris Kendall for actually doing that, because he could have quite easily just said, I'm sending one off, but not the other. But he'd called both and he said, I'm sitting players down from both sides. So, courage of his convictions on that one. But yeah, when you then look at, like say, a deliberate high shot, penalty sufficient, or something maybe on report, and then that's not a sin bin, but something like that is, you got to start saying, well, hang on, that's not fair on the players to have to go and have that time sat down and the sin bin and everything else and that record on you for the card for something that we see 100 times a game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All eyes on the MRP. It could be very interesting. It could be a reserve game at the Brit community next week. The amount of injuries and suspensions on both sides, that could be very interesting indeed. Before we go, I think again, I think neither of us had the chance to watch the game yet. I think I plan on watching this afternoon. But instant reaction. Catalan 18, Toulouse 60. I mean, I thought something was wrong with my phone. I was like, what? Surely not. I mean, that is some performance. And I'm led to believe from those who watched it, Ollie Ashelbot had another game to remember.
Yeah, I heard this exact same thing when someone turned around and went, oh, what was the Catalans Toulouse score? And I think I guessed that'll be 24-10 to Catalans or something like that. And I showed them the score and I was like, what happened there? I think Cartwright will be scratching his head also thinking what happened there, because I did check the score at one point and it was something like 18 points to 10 or something like that, up by 18-6 to Catalans. There was in front of, all right, that's it, they'll get a stranglehold on the game, and then saw that. But where's that Toulouse performance been? Because Toulouse have been usually on the receiving end of high scores and then coming back towards the end, but to control a game like that, that's so impressive. And yeah, if I say I haven't had a chance to see the game, I will get a chance to watch it very soon. But
yeah,
Toulouse just, if Ollie Ashelbot can do that to you, wow, look out the rest of the Super League.
Look, I mean, the bottom line is that Toulouse got ahead. All year they've shown second half they've got. I mean, if a rugby league team had Duracell batteries, well, Toulouse Olympic is it, because they seem to get stronger in the second half, which is an absolute credit to Sylvain Hules and their conditioning teams and all the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, look, some key stats in this. And there are some key stats. Toulouse 61% possession. They had a completion rate of 88%. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, absolutely incredible. They restricted Catalan to 19 completed sets in this game. Every conceivable stat that you look at, like I said, I want to watch the game and see what I make of that in total. But when you look at it, you're thinking, this clearly was a side that was up, they were ready, and they fired. And you talk about John Cartwright. As yet, I don't think the decision has been made if John Cartwright is going to remain at Catalan for next year. But I'll tell you now, they might put a bit of ice on that contract for the time being based on that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Catalans were expected to win that game. I think a lot of people were expecting Catalans to win, but then to be put to the sword like that is it. What can you do? That's got to be like him scratching his head saying what happened there. I mean, we know Catalans can be a bit hit and miss at times, but I've never known them to be that much of a miss. Certainly playing still in France, it's not something that they usually do. It's usually when they've done like a 1 day travel to a game in the UK. But yeah, he's got to now sit down and reassess that team and go what has gone wrong, because there is a lot of very good quality in that Catalans team that they shouldn't be having 60 points put past them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Right, before you take us to the bridge, it's your show after all. I'm just, here for the week, which is nice, actually. Nice to be on Hooter for it. It's been a while. It's been a long while. I'll tell you mine so you can think about it. Player of Magic round. As I come away last night, I was thinking, what? I thought, people. I've seen a podcast saying that they thought the Wigan Saints game was a poor game probably because they lost. It wasn't a poor game. As a neutral, that was how you'd have wished all 6 games were. Edge of your seat stuff. It was cut, it was front, it was brutal. There was injured players going off left, right, and centre. There was biff. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, if you were going to do a blueprint for a rugby league game, there you go. The only thing that was missing was it was Hastings kicking at the end, because it was deserving. As a neutral, if that goes to Golden Point, we're in dreamland. It would have been absolutely, not for you, obviously, but for the neutral, it would have been amazing. But anyway, as I come away and thinking, who really stood out for me? Who really stood out for me this weekend? And I've got to go to Caleb Hamlin-Uele for me. I thought his performance against Wakefield, this is a guy all season that we've been seeing. He's going to be playing in the World Cup for England. He came on and he's so destructive. Him and Fartilli, when they come on, they're so hard to handle. And I thought, for me, I love that. I did enjoy his performance. The thing now about Wakey is you're waiting for those subs, which automatically puts them in your eye line. You're thinking, right, what are these two going to do? And I really watched and studied Caleb's game, and I have to say, wow. I mean, Davil Powell there has got a right result with him. He really has. Great player, destructive, very good. So for me, in terms of, and I like me forwards, I think they don't get the praise that they deserve. He, for me, was the one that I came away from Magic Weekend thinking, yeah, a bit of a player in me, had a great Magic. Who caught your eye, mate?
There's a few that caught my eye, to be fair. Like I say, Hamlin-Uele, he's a proper forward, and he's an absolute spark. And I say Wakefield's bench, Wakefield probably got the best bench in Super League, to be fair, because they're just such an impact on it. From losing teams, I thought Caesar had a great game for FC. I thought Clark had a great game for St Helens. But yeah, probably player of the round, or for the whole round. It's difficult. Do you know what? I'd probably go Ash Hanley at Leeds. I thought he did a really good game, did Ash? And I thought, I thought maybe him for Leeds. I thought he had a fantastic game, just setting everything up, and especially again doing that when Bradford got a bit of momentum in the second half as well, and be able to keep Leeds on top and setting up Sevo for his customary try. But it was, I'll probably say Ash Hanley over the round. I thought he was brilliant.
Great show. And do you know what? I'm happy you said Ash Hanley, because he was my second. Like I said, you know what? I like me forwards. I'm always going to give forwards flowers, because I just don't think they get enough of them. But you're right, as a back, and perhaps actually, probably overall, you could argue Hanley was the player of Magic, but I'm biased when it comes to forwards. But what a performance. I mean, what a performance. 3 tries, 2 assists, just a running threat all game. I mean, incredible. I mean, all this noise over Sevo, I know through the members that we've got, the Leeds Rhinos members that we've got, that they're probably going to say what I'm about. I think they would say what I'm about to say. But when Player of the Season awards start being dished out at Headingley, then Maker Sevo can carry Ash Hanley's award home for him as his courier, because Ash Hanley, for me, all day, he's been their best player this season. He's. Do you know what? I'm going to upset a Wigan fan here. Farmworth is a shoo-in at centre. We know that. Has to be, unless they play him at full-back. But I think Farmworth plays centre. I do. On current form, Handley's over Wardle all day long. All day. Yeah. I'm sorry, but has to be.
Yeah, just what he's been able to do with Leeds. 'Cause we always say that about Sevo's tries are the ones where he the running gag is that he scores them like 5 meters out and there's nobody there, but it's Handley making nobody there. It's what Handley's doing to drawing in wingers and centres to free up the space, and that's what a rural good centre could do. And I don't think Wardle's had that real opportunity this year to be able to do what he normally does in that sense. So yes, you've got to be looking realistically at Handley to be taking that Elder England spot with Farmworth.
Spot on, mate. It's been a pleasure. Keep up the good work. Love a bit of fan loot on a Monday, mate. And I'll pass back to you to say goodbye to your listeners. And I'm sure I'll be back at some point in the future. But thanks for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure coming on.
No problem, mate. It's always a pleasure to have you on. So yeah, that's been Final Hoots for this week. We will have Ladies Tackle Talk coming your way very, very soon. We also have Super League Raw Weekly this week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. with Dave, Steph, Reggie, and Joel. We will also have Championship Talk with Craig Lingard. That'll be coming Wednesday. We will have the Captain's Run on Thursday, and the run up to Thursday's game, which has now completely escaped me which one it is.
I'll tell you now. So, in fact, it will be, and I'll tell you because I know it's Warrington Wigan the day after. It's York against Hull FC on Thursday night.
That could be quite a good game. Could that one? Can York keep the momentum and can Hull FC bounce back? Because 2 weeks running now, Hull FC have been the better team and a losing side, which is quite concerning now, Phil. So I think they've got that opportunity is on the cusp. We'll of course be back next week. And if you wish to find yourself on the final Hooter, you can become a member heading over to superleagueraw.com and look at memberships. The price of a latte a month, you could be on the final Hooter. So that's from me, and thanks to Dave for coming on for this very special Magic Weekend edition. So that's been the final Hooter. Bye for now.